journalism, paper to blogging?
It's mainly because I saw the traditional print media just petering out, and it's not. I think it's always going to be around. But wine writers have got to a stage almost like we were thinking, okay, well, I've been around enough time now. I get a column on this newspaper, or I get a column on this magazine, and I saw these magazines either scaling down their traditional wine coverage or getting someone in-house to do it. And I thought, well, there's still lots and lots of people out there who are keen to know. I mean, I do lots of tastings, and the feedback that you get, people know more, but people still want to know more. And I thought, what's the best way of doing it? The best way of getting across what I want to tell people, rather than what the magazine editor wants to tell people. So it started off with a website, but then it's like a product. If you've got something, you need to promote it. And I see social media as being almost like personal marketing for me, but enjoyable personal marketing. And I think what you need to do in social media, it's this weird thing, you need to acknowledge excellence in your competitors, as well as bigging yourself up, because if it's just like, I've done this, aren't I wonderful? You need to, so when I do my things like Twitter, a lot of the time what I'll be doing is I'll be flagging up what other people have done. So it probably tends to be like maybe 80% other people's stuff and 20% my stuff. So.
And then being new to social media, or being new to another delivery mechanism for your message, I think I see that one of the challenges is how do you get that consumer to know that information is there in the first place, and then once they're aware of it, then they enjoy it and start to use it. How do you think you overcome that first barrier to attracting the Joe consumer to the information that you're providing?
Well, to be crude, where do you go to pick up women? You need to be where the action is. And if you're sitting at home waiting for a beautiful woman to come and knock on your door, it's just not going to happen. So you need to go to where your audience is. I have an audience of beautiful women, obviously. I suppose you think about like who is my ultimate audience? Do I like talking to the people who are just getting into wine? And for me, yes, I can do those articles. I have tasted Petrus a few times, but the people I like most are what I call supermarket graduates. They're the people who would be still buying 2/3 of their wine at a supermarket, but will be then looking to somewhere else. Maybe it's a Majestic, maybe it's an Oddbins, maybe it's a Laithwaite's, somewhere like that, for the rest of their stuff.
And do you classify your consumers in any regards to that respect? Do you classify them as those that are at the supermarket stage, those that have gone on to alternate outlets for wine where there's a different selection? Is there another tier beyond that? Do you use persona?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say I categorise people like that. But what I suppose I'm increasingly aware of is, because I do a lot of videos on my website, and I'm aware when I watch them back, there are some times that I've used information that is too whiny. I speak wine speak. And so increasingly, if I am using a term that is a bit technical, I have to explain it. And if I can't explain it in normal language, then I have to either stop using it, talk around it, or find some way in which I can make it relevant. Because our jobs as wine communicators is to get people to actually explore the supermarket ranges first, rather than make a step onto a Laithwaite's, a Oddbins, a whatever. But because, I don't know what the Tesco range is, but it's probably like 700, 800 wines. Most of the sales will probably be about less than 100 of those. But what about the other 700? Someone's bothered to buy them. And I would like to see people encouraged to explore those. Because
what do you think would be your simple 3 rules that any consumer could think about when it comes to picking a wine to go with their food?
First thing, I think that there's a lot of bullshit talked about food and wine pairing. How many bad wines with bad foods have you had?
None. Precisely none.
Not very many. There are some marriages made in heaven. There are some that are truly dreadful. But the percentage of both is small. 90% of the time, a decent wine, a decent meal, have them together, you're not going to complain. But I've got this idea in my mind, ready meals, ready wines. The whole ready meals aisle, I would love to see almost like either a picture, something that you can actually take out from like a, what are they, those little, not shelf talkers, but just you pull a leaflet out, pick a bottle, pick that, take it to the wine aisle and say, right, okay, I've got my chili con carne, I've got my lasagna, I've got my meat and 2 veg. I want to try it with the wine that they recommend. I suppose what I would encourage people to do is, if you, I don't know how many bottles of wine you'd buy at a time. Most people, if they're doing their weekly shop, they'd buy, well, it depends on how much, how many there are at home. If there's just one of you and you're drinking your regulation 1.347 glasses a day. No, if you go to and do your shop and you're getting a 6-pack of wine, buy 5 wines you know and 1 you don't, and just start there. And in the way that you pick up a cookery book and you read it and put it down and don't make anything from it. Well, maybe next time someone gives you a cookery book, instead of it being food porn, just like actually make one of the recipes. For me, it's the same with wine. If you're buying a 6-pack of wine, 5 wines you're confident with, 1 wine that you've never heard of.
So, Thank you very much, Simon.
Thank you.
Where can we find you?
I'm at www.simonwoods.com, and there'll be more videos there if you like my pretty face.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Simon.
See you soon.